Hello everyone, we are starting the webinar. So today's webinar will be hosted by myself together with the one and only Jan Vasek from Czech Republic. And we will cover two topics. Basically, we will be talking about savings levers. So how to get savings in procurement, and then we will focus on two in particular. So what you see on the screen right now, I'll start with this one. So before we continue, I thought that we would just go, we'll just give you what is actually procurement doing in the organization. And that's very often a question from many top managements is how much do I actually get from procurement? So what you see here on the screen, there's some survey made by A.T. Kearney. And then in the middle section here, the one that I'm just highlighting, those are best in class companies. So assume that your spend is 100%, 100 million, whatever. That's the spend of the company. What is addressed by procurement in those best companies is 74%. You can never spend every penny. At least we would like to do that, but that's impossible. So 74% of our spend in best companies is being addressed by the procurement, and then the best procurements, they produce 8% savings. And here comes the big headache. What is savings? How we calculate those savings? So there are 5 levers. There are 5 savings levers. By the way, you might be able to hear my kids running over there. I asked my wife specifically to take them away. Sometimes it's more difficult, easier said than done. But so if we think about savings levers, then we have the one and only sourcing and negotiation. Most of the companies, they're just doing that. Then we have value engineering, processing cost, cash flow, and demand management. And when you ask very conservative and very strict financial controller, they would never accept most of those things. And then they have hard time accepting the 8% that we produce. So what is this 8%? It's a big, big story. And today we would like to focus on 2 out of those 5, where one is value engineering and one is demand management. We choose those 2 in particular because demand management is one that's very underestimated. I mean, we all know suppliers negotiations, we beat them up on the price, we just want to have lower prices, that's obvious. But what is demand management? That is something that I thought would be worth to spend some time on it. And then 2 last sections here, compliance and procurement department cost. So compliance means that we just comply with the company policy, that we do have policy, that we examine, that we evaluate our suppliers, that we do assessment. And procurement department cost, that's also interesting. 0.4% of the total spend is what is the best in class, but this is not the same company that is addressing 74% of their total spend. It's not the same company that is producing 8% savings. It's just cherry picking here across all those elements when they did the survey. So, that was the cheapest procurement department from all that they have surveyed. So bear in mind, this doesn't mean that if your procurement department costs 2.4 of the total spend, that they would produce 8% savings, that they would address 74% of that spend. If that is clear, which I understand might not always be. Anyway, the best procurement, so like the target that we want to have, we would like to have our return on procurement assets to be between 6 and 8. So if your cost 1 million, you should make at least 6 to 8 million savings to make it a fair deal with the company. Okay, so that was, with that being said as an introduction,